you're old, like we're in different time zones. I want to grow old with someone and somebody else is just starting to want to have a family, even though we're sexually attracted and have fun together. How does that work? That's my question.
Well, I always think of it as it's going to work until the person is like sick. Maybe that's at 85,
Yeah,
maybe it's
that's
at
the thing.
90.
Yeah, and then you got a nurse, you want to be the nurse and get the purse, but what's that going to do for you in the long run? You'll be wheeling him around till he's in, a coma. That's not good either. That's not good energy anyway, and that's false. If you really love that person, you don't care. But if you don't love the person, you're using them. The minute the money goes and the person's no longer walking around, you're at the door. So is that love? No, not really. Love is when you only want to be with that person. You don't want to be with anyone else, even if they're dying.
Yeah.
I just got that was like a kind of her, you know what I mean, moment. Like, wow. Because that's what love. That's really what love is.
Well, yeah. I mean, you want them to want you for the right reasons. And
I mean, if I were dying and my husband was madly in love with me and he's holding my hand like my stepfather did to my mother when she died of cancer, he wouldn't leave her side. He couldn't look at another woman. He was just like, this is my love of my life and she's dying and I want to save her every moment that I can until she passes. That's the way it's supposed to be.
well, you look at like Suzanne Summers and her husband, Alan, like he's not gonna, I mean, they were truly in love. They did not separate for a minute. Like he's not gonna go out and date someone else now.
I mean, he might down the road because men want to have sex. Like John Gray says, the minute they leave the situation of like death is because they want sex, like John Gray did when his wife died. And he was crazy about his wife. But the only problem is I went on a date a couple of months ago with a widower and I didn't want to hear about the ex. It's not even ex, it's deceased person, their deceased mate. And it really turned me off. And I was like, yeah, that's not for me. I don't want to live with a ghost in my relationship. So I didn't go out with him again.
That's understandable. What do you think of? I mean, I don't know where we are today with this, but what do you think of like Kyle Richards and Morgan Wade? I mean, are they friends? I'm just curious what your thought
What are
is.
you talking about?
Kyle Richards and
Oh,
Morgan Wade, her friend.
well, I mean, they're really close. Are they lesbians? I don't know. I mean, that's not for me to say. I know there's a documentary they're doing, and I know she really believes in her talent, and they're close friends. And Kyle went through tremendous breakup. I mean, I'm surprised at this, even though the psychic predicted it, Alison Dubois.
She
Um,
did. She's my friend.
I know she read me once. Nothing came true with me. So maybe we could talk to her again. But she, it was kind of an interesting thing because I think that too much exposure to the limelight, Jill and I've talked about this, can kill the relationships. And if you look at all the relationships that have broke up on Bravo, it's usually someone's going gaga over the limelight and they're not calm and realize this could all be gone tomorrow. This is a business. This is how we make our money, but this isn't who we are. Like it went to their head. You know what I mean? That's what I see that a lot with the couples. And then I wonder why they're breaking up. And then you find out, you talk to them behind the scenes. One of Christine Quinn, like you see these people and they go crazy. Her husband went crazy on her. So I feel bad for Kyle. I really loved her and I did a lot of commercials with her at Bravo and we always laughed and had fun. I think she's beautiful inside and out. So I wish her well.
Well, you speak of people that like don't know that the business and they goes to their head. Like that is the whole thing that Shannon claims about John Janssen, who's now dating Alexis.
I mean, like, I'm not going to get into the Alexis thing. You know what I feel about that. It was all over the news. Anybody can Google it. He's an opportunist. My showrunner's their showrunner. I mean, my friends fix them up. My gay friends fix them up. And whether Shannon has crazy problems or not, what he did was wrong. And he wanted to get back on the show. Him pretending he is not interested is all bullshit. But you'll enjoy it. It'll be great TV. I feel bad for Drew, Alexis's ex,
Well, this is why you need to find a good guy for Shannon.
Well, I'm working on it. We're working on it. There's certain things that I have to have her do first before I fix her up, which I don't want to talk about on camera. I want to protect her privacy. But there's a lot of people on Bravo right now. One of my favorite people is Cynthia. And I met him and I said, oh God, this is amazing. And, Steve Harvey fixed you up and and then look what happened. Another one gets a taste of what we have and, goes to the friggin' head. I think that
Well,
happened to my ex, to be honest with you. He was always on my Instagram. So I will never do that again, to be honest with you. I'm not going to put anyone on my Instagram. I'm going to do what Kelly did. Kelly Bestman's another friend of mine. And I just think that she did it right. To be honest with you, she got engaged. She moved in with him. She's doing it all right. That's the way you do it.
meaning like what? He's not seen at all.
Look, he's in finance. She had seen him before, got introduced at the hockey game. He asked her out and off they went. And he's been treating her like an angel ever since. Yeah.
And
So
he's not in the public eye. We never see him.
no, he was once, I think one time when she was moving on her Instagram. It wasn't any major thing. But Kelly did it right. Ramona's doing it right. Ramona's not keeping her boyfriend on all over the place. Yeah.
I
And
saw
that's
Ramona last week. I sat next to her and the boyfriend.
right. So I think the ones that do that have a better chance of survival.
Well, Vicky's
Yes.
doing it now.
Right. Mike's not really big into that. I mean, I know him. He's not really big into that stuff. And, you got to tell her not to, yeah.
No, she's leaving. I think
Okay.
she knows.
So the one thing that I will say is that there's a lot of people who can't live with it out. Like you look at J-Lo. Maybe J-Lo and Ben broke up because Ben really wanted quiet time alone and he only does his red carpet for work like I do. And he doesn't like that whole, look at me, look at me, look at me. And after a while, it got on his nerves. Who knows? I don't really know what's going on over there, but it does look like that Fame got to one and said, I can't do this anymore.
You think it's really over for those two?
I told Harvey Levin asked me to do this TMZ thing and I didn't have time to do it. But I said to him, they might date and have separate residences, which is very common today in the LA lifestyle. My ex-boyfriend's parents, dad was an alcoholic, mom still loved him. They got separate places. They never divorced and they dated till he died. You don't know, it could be like that. I mean, they're still hanging out for the kids. So it tells me it's not completely dead. It was completely dead. He wouldn't be seen with her.
It's so sad if it doesn't work out. And I never feel that
After
way.
all they went through, yeah, I know. It's pretty sad. I mean, all of these relationships are sad, but the secret to this relationship business, when you have that much money, is to put your relationship first, not second, not third. And no matter what happens, this is what's going on with Melissa and Teresa. The relationship comes first. Because if you start putting Hollywood first, you're going to be alone. Sorry, but you will.
What do you mean? Like Melissa and Teresa with each other and all the fights?
I mean, they kind of put their relationships first, which was, I'm not going to see each other. And even though, the relationship may not work out and we saw Jersey not doing well, I wish them well. I'm from Jersey. They're my girls, they did put their own individual families first. And I thought that was smart, even if it didn't work on TV. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, she's got Lewis and she's got Joe and they have kids and that's what comes first. This all could be blown away tomorrow. They've had a very long run, more than anybody else, I think. And so, it's sad. I don't talk to my sister, so I get it, kind of. It's like weird. I have a son, my sister.
I mean, that is a good point. Like, if you think about it, this might cost them their job, but Teresa is putting Louis first and Melissa is putting Joe first.
But then they have each other. So